You're listening to Kerry Greenaway and Mark Manley on the Dark Mirror Paranormal Show, only on Parasearch UK Radio. The views and opinions expressed by presenters and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Parasearch UK Radio or its affiliates and sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
And good evening and welcome to the Dark Mirror Show with myself, Mark, and it would have been Kerry tonight, but unfortunately she's drunk and fallen down behind the sofa in a coma. So we've decided to get Paul Rook, one of our favourites, to jump in for her, haven't we?
Hello, how are you?
Sober.
Brilliant, excellent.
Which Kerry is not.
Well, yes, she's sort of out for the count, I suppose. But
she's having a day off.
I'm just in awe you've invited me to your studio tonight. What a mess, though. I mean, look, it's a half-eaten kebab down there. Do you know what I mean? You could have cleared up.
Yeah, that's Kerry's.
Oh, right, okay.
That's Kerry's. If you see any sort of like takeaway food or anything, it's normally Kerry's and Daisy's. There's a bra hanging on the lampshade in the hallway there, which I think was yours, Paul.
Oh, right, okay. Maybe at the weekend.
Is that when you're Pauline?
Anyway, what we going to be discussing tonight? No, actually, let's talk about what you're going to be doing at the weekend. What are you doing at the weekend?
Tomorrow, we are in Epping Forest, where I will be hosting a paranormal walk and talk through the depths of the forest into, I can't say too much because I don't want to give too much away, but into two certain notorious parts where people like to go when they want to end it all, and also where certain factions of the East End like to get rid of evidence, if you see what I mean.
Ooh, sounds good.
So yeah. It shouldn't be too bad. It's going to be lots of... Hopefully you can get some contact. We've got a medium coming along tomorrow, Kerry. Hopefully she'll get rid of a hangover and she'll be all right.
I'm sure she will be.
It's going to be fun. We've got people up from Yorkshire who are going to be there. We've got people from various parts of the country. So yeah, should be cool. Fantastic.
And you know what? I've done a little bit of research today. Right, I want to tie into what we're going to be talking about tonight. And
feeling all right.
And there's been some files from the National Archive that show UFO reports and strange lights over Chigwell in Epping. Well, Epping Forest.
That's Chigwell, isn't it?
Yeah, it's sort of the north end, isn't it, of the forest.
It just explains Chigwell, really.
Well, exactly. And this one report in 2005, there was 7 or 8 white and orange glows was seen above the clouds. And yeah, so there's quite a few UFO reports there.
Well, hopefully, you never know, you might see something tomorrow night.
Yeah, and
you never know.
Hopefully you do make it back in one piece, because yeah, you got to do more, haven't you?
I don't know. It depends what's out there, and it depends. I mean, you never know. I mean, our medium Kerry, she might have something take over. She may turn into the wild man of Borneo and go haunting the woods for a while. We don't know.
Yeah, exactly. You don't know, but then you might also get abducted by the aliens.
They take one look at me and chuck me back out, mate.
Well, you said it, not me.
So that would explain a lot.
So,
I see Kerry is in the room along with Richard and Kayla, who's a regular.
Yes.
Evening, guys.
Hello, everybody. Oh, look, you're in there
Kerry.
As well. Mark Manley's in there.
Yeah, I'm in there as well. But yeah, Kerry is sober, by the way. It's just a long-standing joke that she's always drunk. She's not.
I'm Kerry Greenaway for tonight.
Have you been at the gin again? Is that why your voice is so deep?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what it is.
Right. Okay, Kerry.
No, Kerry's not medium. More like
she's
small.
A small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Right. Okay. So where are we going to go with this this UFO stuff tonight? We was going to have a guest tonight, but he ducked out. Maybe he was abducted by aliens.
Perhaps that's what happened. I mean, I did organise somebody else as well, but
maybe they're all off with the aliens. Big party up there.
Yeah, exactly. We're not invited, which is a bit of a boot. But anyway.
Oh, no, it's terrible. So, yeah, go on then. Where do you want to go with this alien stuff?
I think to start off with, how's about your choice? We can pick alien bases or research places, or we can talk about maybe sightings down through the ages.
Let's do the alien bases, because I've seen quite recently, within the last few months actually, I think it was, a thing on social media saying that there was a supposedly, allegedly alien base just off the coast of Miami, I believe it was, and it was picked up by the satellites on Google Maps. It's like
that's right.
A big oval shape, and you can see it was almost like pillars holding this oval shape up.
Yes, I know the one you're talking about.
What do you
when
make
you
of
go,
that?
and it's supposed to be. Well, everybody thought it was a base, and it was. You were right. There's lights supposed to be seen going in and out, and there's been numerous reports, not just from stoners on the beach, but from members of the public, the police. Even some military personnel have reported it. Government vehemently denied it, but yes, there's pillars and everything. But what has come to light is that apparently the Atlantic Undersea Test and Evaluation Centre, or AUTEC, is located on Andros Island in the Bahamas, and that is supposed to be one of their stop-offs. They won't confirm it, but rumour is that that particular place is either one of their stop-offs, or there is the alien base theory, and they're in. Well, we all know that the government knows about aliens anyway.
So
and
you said it's like one of their stop-offs. What is it they actually do?
Well, nobody knows what AUTEC does. That's just it.
Because could they not just stop off a hotel in Miami? Because it's only just off the coast. So
well, they
unless
they
they're going
test
for a
undersea
swim.
warfare equipment, don't they?
Right. Okay.
So, but the fact, I mean, I've read a lot of reports about that place, and to me, the things that are going in and out of there, I don't think we've got the technology for that yet.
Well, not that would. Yeah, but it might not be common knowledge. So the US government, for example, might just be testing this stuff, or just keeping it a secret.
Well, there's been reports of things coming out of there doing 70, 80 knots plus and moving as if they're some sort of stealth fighter.
Well, they've got stealth fighters, so maybe they've got one for underwater as well.
Stealth submarines?
Yeah. Stealth torpedo.
Perhaps the stealth submarines, and I think actually you're on the ball with that, because I know the Navy SEALs and the South Korean underwater demolitions team, they have similar things to that. So
okay. There you go, we debunked that one. What's next?
There is another underwater, I'm sticking with the underwater theme, base in Australia. And I'm just trying to find the name of it, because I've got my notes in front of me. And I'm going very slowly through them, and I can't find the flipping place.
That's about right. You probably deleted them now, so that place doesn't exist anymore.
No, it is. It is a genuine. It's a real place, and I'm trying to remember the name of the base. If you just give me 2 seconds, I will try and remember it.
Okay. Well, wasn't there another? Maybe it's even the same one. It was discovered underwater probably 3 or 4 years ago now, and they reckon it's like a civilization, and their whole civilization had sunk into the sea. And I don't think it was too far away from. Is it Christmas Island where they got the heads?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is news to me. This one.
Okay, I'm sure there was one that they thought initially that it was an underwater secret base or some sort, but they've said that it's almost like a temple underwater, and they think again, the stones, the way they're cut are into like big cubes, so it's almost like a giant pyramid underwater.
Yes,
but
I know.
You haven't got the whole
pyramid.
You've just got half of it. If you know what I mean. So
yeah, I know. There's supposed to be one in Guantanamo Bay, and the pyramid you're on about is. Oh, I'm trying to think where it is. Oh God!
And I thought you'd done your research. Terrible.
My memory's. It's because of my age, right? That's what it is. By the way, it's Pine Gap in Australia.
Okay.
Pine Gap is when it was built, the government said, "Oh, it's just weapons research and there's nuclear, this, that, and the other in it." And there was a lot of people protested against it. But there is supposed to be the world's biggest, how can I put it, hole in the middle of it with an antenna. And I think, don't quote me on it, I think it goes down for a supposed 30 miles, and it's used to recharge underwater crafts' batteries.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the things about it. But it's basically the Australian Area 51.
Okay. Cool. Sounds good.
Yeah, and it's that place you're on about is just off the coast of Mexico.
Oh, okay.
Just
nowhere near Australia then.
It looks like it. No. The place you were talking about.
Oh, right, okay.
Pine Gap's in the middle of Australia, literally in the middle of Australia.
Okay, cool.
By Alice Springs. But this place you're talking about looks like a pyramid on top of an upside or askew square.
Yeah, because at one stage I even thought it might have been a ship of some sort. But
really?
that's just another theory, I suppose. But then, they might have... They've probably explored it a bit more now, so they know exactly what it is. But I just think it could just be a civilization and just sank. Because many small islands do just sink and disappear. I mean, I was watching that program.
8.5 miles across.
I was watching a program last night on the Galapagos Islands, and even they said that the whole all the islands in that region, some of them are just going to be sinking and going and disappearing anyway.
They're volcanic, aren't they?
Exactly, and they're shifting as well with the tectonic plates and stuff. But there's going to be a time when those islands have sunk into the sea. So if there happen to be a civilization on them, obviously they're going to be sinking as well. And then in 50 million years' time, someone's going to go down there and go, "Oh look, aliens."
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's been a lot of that, hasn't there? I mean, because there used to be land bridges between the UK and France, and that's all gone down there, and fishermen are still pulling up artifacts from there anyway. But we're going off track here anyway. There's also Colorado Airport.
Okay, what about Colorado Airport?
Eh?
What about them?
It's supposed to be, they reckon there's a massive joint alien and US government research base underneath it, and the whole reason it was built was to cover up this base, because there's all sorts of things that don't meet and don't match up and are out of turn there. Like you've got there's doorways that nobody can account for. When it was built, there was loads of tunneling equipment and everything brought in, but it's supposed to have no tunnels, etc., etc., etc. Military personnel have been seen going in and out of certain doorways in the airport, and anybody else tries to go through them, they can't go through them.
Could that not just be part and parcel of like something to do with the Cold War, and they've got some sort of secret nuclear base thing there?
Possibly, but again, it all comes down to conspiracy theories.
Okay. See, I didn't know about that one. So.
Yeah, no. There's so many conspiracy theories about everything these days that you've got to think, well, really,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like there's supposed to be in Colorado, Little Colorado. You've got the legend of caves down there that the Hopi Indians used to go around.
Okay.
And they stopped using them because there's supposed to be some form of tribe that was in there that the Hopi Indians used to mingle with, but said they came from the stars.
Oh, okay.
And it's like that place in China. I can't remember what it's called yet, but those discs were found with lots of strange diagrams and drawings on it. And this particular place in China had Nordic blonde people living there. And the story that was passed down, what do you call it? Where it's passed down word of mouth.
Yep.
Was that their ship came from the sky, crashed, and these people were stranded here, and they ended up living there. And that's why they're in this particular part of China, you do get blondes.
Awesome. Sounds good.
I'm just trying to think. You've got lots of conspiracy theories. I mean, you've got Rendlesham Forest for a start.
Yeah, I've discovered. I've got a report that Nick Pope done.
That's right, yeah.
Was it Nick Pope or Nick Hope?
Yeah, it was Nick Pope, yeah.
Okay, Nick Pope. He is was the go-to guy for the English or British Secret Service and stuff. Right. He was basically the Fox Mulder of the British government, and he launched an investigation in between 1991 and 94 in regards to what happened at Rendlesham Forest. Now, I'm going to try and read some of this, actually. No, I'm not. I'm just going to limit it down because there's lots of stuff. Basically, servicemen claimed that they saw some strange lights and spaceships in the woods at Rendlesham, which is just north of Essex, I believe. Isn't it around the Ipswich area? I think, just on the other side of Ipswich. And basically, he done an investigation, and some of the evidence that was found at the scene disappeared. It
was RAF Woodbridge.
Yeah, some of the evidence just disappeared or was hidden away from him. The people that he interviewed and stuff they all seemed to come out with the same sort of thing. Now, for me, that's quite. It seems to me like it was rehearsed, because if you ask, if there's a car crash, for example, and you ask 5 bystanders what happened, each of those people will come out with a different story, because people notice and see different things. So for Nick Pope to, talk to these people and they all come out with the same thing is a bit suspect for me. Now,
he spoke to John Burroughs and Jim Penniston, didn't he?
Yeah, he spoke to those, and I think he also. Who was the base commander at the time? I can't remember.
He'd speak to him. I'm trying to remember his name. I know those other 2 guys were the ones that were supposed to have actually touched the UFO. Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt, I think.
Okay, yep. Yeah, that sounds familiar. Yeah, but basically Nick Pope decided that there was one of 2 explanations, and it is down in the report that you can have a read of. Just do a Google search for Nick Pope and the Rendlesham Forest. He basically said that either there was an intrusion into airspace and a landing by an unidentified craft took place at Rendlesham as described, or the deputy commander of an operation, the deputy commander of operational nuclear armed US Air Force Base in England. No, that's the wrong one. I'm just.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to live radio.
Absolutely. Or basically that they were lying and hallucinating. That was the other option.
There is that, but apparently 2 nights later the UFO was supposed to return and fired some sort of laser or light beam at the base commander and the small team who've gone to investigate it, and it later on that night fired these same light beams. I don't know whether they were sensors or whatever, but they were supposed to fire it at a, and I'll use inverted commas, sensitive area of the base. Okay.
Interesting.
And it was witnessed by a number of people as well.
So that's not in the report. Nick Pope only just investigated that one night, so that wasn't actually mentioned in the report. So
I'm actually looking at Nick Pope's report here, and it's on the top of it.
Okay.
Here we are. It was briefly tracked on military radar as well, so there was some sort of evidence there. And before I forget, young Kerry is on the side and waiting to join us if she'd like.
Okay, cool. She can join us.
We can do that in the adverts, can't we?
Yeah. We'll do that at some point. But yeah, even they had a drawing as well on this report of this triangular shaped craft, and
that's right. Yeah,
they even drew some symbols that were on the craft as well. So
they look like runes, don't they?
Yeah, they're quite strange, really. Even like hieroglyphics to some extent. So
Well, they're supposed to have made one of them ill, wasn't it? They got some sort of strange radiation poisoning from it.
Yeah, I heard that one.
He got pensioned out of the USAF.
Ah, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. And another thing to do with army bases and stuff. What about the Cheyenne Mountain complex?
Yep, that's where they got Stargate.
Well, it actually really does exist. The complex. I'm not.
I know the complex does really exist, and the only. I mean, I just know about it from films. Really, I've not really looked into that.
Well, there's another thing which is to do with contractors back in the days when all these mountain bases were built, like Mount Lassen in California, Cheyenne, and all that, and Dulce and all that stuff. There's supposed to be miles and miles and miles of underground tunnels that actually interlink 3 of the mountain complexes.
Ah, awesome! I did actually. There's another story of a big battle between the American soldiers and the aliens, and I think it was in Alaska, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right. That was it was around the end of the Second World War, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think they were trying to dig out a make a military base up there, and they just uncovered this big cave, and as they went in, all these aliens started shooting at them with the laser beams and stuff, and obviously the American government a little bit trigger happy possibly, and they started shooting back.
That's right, and their weapons had absolutely no
effect
on it whatsoever. There was quite a few things that actually did happen in the Second World War, and 2 of the most famous things were, you were right about. It wasn't just the Americans. There was a joint task force in Antarctica that were there at the time, because they were actually looking for a supposed. Well, their version of events was they were looking for a hidden Nazi base.
Yeah.
But there was British and American joint venture. They got a bit too. It was called Operation Overlord, and they got a bit too close to a certain part of Antarctica. And as they came out, basically these UFOs didn't just shoot out of a cave, but they were supposed to come out from the water as well.
Okay.
And they just hovered for a bit and then warned them off. And then, you're right, the Americans did start shooting, and it had no effect whatsoever on the UFOs themselves. And I think that was enough, basically, for all the crew to go, no, stuff that, we're going.
Wouldn't that cause like an interstellar war? So we should really be at war with these aliens now.
Well, it would, but they thought it was Nazis, didn't they? They thought it was Nazi technology, because they were supposed to be allegedly investigating UFO technology, weren't they?
They were, and there is even some old video footage of them trying to take off in a saucer-shaped craft. I remember.
That's right, and there's supposed to be a bell as well, wasn't there? But that was more to do with time travel.
Yeah, I know they did sort of experiment with the paranormal as well as weird and other wacky things. He
had a whole section, didn't he? He had a whole section of the SS that was devoted to looking up, how can I put it, paranormal artifacts.
Yeah, they did, and even, as I said, religious artifacts as well, because they were always looking for the cup of Christ and stuff like that, and even the hollow Earth theory as well is based on the alien stuff.
That's right, because isn't there supposed to be an entrance up there in Antarctica?
I would have thought so. Do you know what? To be honest, they could probably just come up with any old place, really. No one really knows, to be fair, and I'm not one for the hollow Earth theory anyway. So
I'm not too sure about that myself. But it was I can't even pronounce it properly, but the Ananabi was the Nazi division, I think. But okay. I know they were supposed to be looking for the what was it? Because Andy, he'll know about it. He's in the chat room at the moment. Weren't they looking for the Spear of Destiny? That was one of the main ones they were looking for. Spear of Destiny, and
you've been watching too much DC.
Oh, that's supposed to be.
You've been listening to watching too much DC Legends of Tomorrow.
Anyway, and I can see we've rattled a few feathers there in the chat room.
I'm with Andy. That's fine.
No, I've been watching Hellboy, so it's true. It must be.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, go for it.
Right, another one. Dark Side of the Moon. What do you reckon?
Dark Side of the Moon.
Yeah.
They reckon there's an alien base up there, don't they?
Well, I thought it was a good album by Pink Floyd, but
Well, yeah, there is that, but no, there's something. I think it's because we don't know. It sort of captured the imagination of all these sci-fi nuts, and they've all just gone, yeah, there's an alien base up there. There's got to be. But I do believe somewhere, I don't know whereabouts, there is some video footage taken from one of the lunar modules, and they do capture some lights, some strange lights. They're not stars, because they're moving at a fast pace. It's almost like, when you look up and you see a shooting star, but
that's right. Yes,
they catch them in space. They're not actually anywhere near the planet's surface.
That's right. But isn't there supposed?
You can't say that they're burning up stone like meteors or anything, because there's no atmosphere for them to burn.
No,
up.
Exactly. And also, wasn't there part of because it was a live broadcast and part of the transmissions were cut because the astronauts actually went to a different channel and would speak in the base command saying, "There's things here watching us."
Yeah, but that again is more of a theory, isn't it? It's a conspiracy theory.
Well, two of the original astronauts swear blind that there was things up there.
I'd say I've not actually seen them speak about that.
But Buzz Aldrin and I can't remember
what does confuse me about that is that there was a period of time when they said that they were off air because the line of sight and they couldn't send the radio signal back. Was that because the lunar module went behind the moon, or did it not? If that makes sense.
I see what you mean. But you've also got NASA's live broadcast now, haven't you? And they keep cutting their live broadcasts when people who've actually been watching it on the internet have seen lights come along and stay beside the International Space Station, and it's been UFOs, and then NASA's cut it, come back when it's gone, and they've gone, oh no, there's nothing there.
Yeah. So I don't normally watch them on the telly for any reason at all, because it doesn't, unless it's about aliens and UFOs and stuff. I'm not really a follower of space.
You don't need it, do I?
But yeah, I mean, it's just an odd one, really. But for me, I don't know. Did they just the moon, as it goes around the Earth, it's only one side that always faces us. It's the same side as it goes all the way around. So you don't actually get to see the dark side of the moon, technically. But
the only time I see the dark side of the moon is if my missus gets drunk and bends over too much. But...
okay. But no, did they fly straight to the moon and land on the light side? Because if that's the case, then there's no reason that they would have that radio blackout. So at some stage they would have had to go around the dark side.
As far as I'm aware, they didn't go to the dark side, did they?
No, they didn't go to it, but did they, when they come up to the moon, rather than flying straight into the face of the moon that's facing us, or did they fly around the moon first and land on the light side? What was their trajectory? That's something that I'd be interested in finding out. Because the only way that they would not have radio signal is if they went to the dark side. No Star Wars. None.
Yeah, I mean, there was supposed to have been a secret Apollo mission as well, wasn't there?
There was. I did hear about that, but I'm not too sure. But I mean, I just like these. I watch a lot of films, as you know, and when they had this major conspiracy theory about their radio silence, they actually fit it into the film Transformers. One of the Transformer films, because they had a crashed spaceship on the dark side of the moon, and that was basically the whole story. Was like their mission was actually to go to check this wreckage out. You know. Yeah. So.
But yeah, as Andy says, Apollo 18. It was supposed to be Apollo 20 as well, but I think it's a load of rubbish myself because I've seen some of the footage of the 21. They're supposed to have found an ancient craft up there and the body of a female alien and this, that, and the other. And Akira, please don't make any Star Wars references. I like Star Wars. Talking Star Wars, President Reagan. Or shall we have a commercial break and then we can get Kerry back in on it and then we can talk about very famous people?
Yep, we can have a commercial break right now, I think.
Hello, this is Kerry Ann. Please join me every Thursday at 9 p.m. on 7th Sanctum, only on Parasearch UK Radio.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Paul Rook, and I want you all to join me Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock for Paranormal Concept, only on Parasearch UK Radio.
Yeah, I'm here, mate. You trying to get her in?
Yeah, I'm going to try and get her in. So if you can just start with the next story, and I'll bring her in.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, because you're live now.
Oh yeah, welcome back. Yeah, anyway, as we were saying, we were talking about President Reagan. Because President Reagan was very, how can I put it? He was very vocal about UFOs, and he definitely said they were there, and he's supposed to have 2 sightings of them. And one of them, I think, was with his wife Nancy, if I remember rightly. But and there was also President Carter, Jimmy Carter, back in the 70s. He was supposed to have seen him as well. And they both wanted clarity and openness about UFOs and the technology, and wanted all governments to stand up and say, yep, actually, we've been in contact with them for ages. But Mexico as well, the Mexican government has already said, yep, they're here, we're dealing with them, that's fine, let's get on with it. So make of that what you will. I'm not sure if Paul has fallen asleep, nodded off, or fallen off the face of this earth. Yeah, Paul?
I'm here.
I'm here.
Ah, hello.
I'm here. Absolutely.
Hello, guys.
I done a Kerry Ann and I forgot the mute button.
Wow, no, that's a Kerry, not a Kerry Ann. I tend to think, I go, mute. That's usually me forgetting the mute button. Good evening, lads. How are you?
Good evening. Yep, I'm fine. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you, Kerry. We're sober. Did you manage to get out from behind the sofa?
Just about. I crawled. I'm on my 5th bottle already.
I thought you might be.
So where are we up to with this? What are we deciding?
We're just talking.
Go on, we're just talking about aliens.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Aliens! There you go.
Oh, see,
Got it in there.
you love doing that to me, don't you, Mark?
I do. Just for any new listeners, Kerry hates me doing that, so that's why I have to make sure in each show I manage to get one of those aliens in there. And yeah, Andy, you're right. He did file a report on his sighting. Just talking about presidential sightings.
Oh, okay. We're on the president.
Not as in, there's a president over there, but as in Ronald Reagan and his Star Wars thing that he wanted to do. And in fact, he did wasn't it a meeting at the, not NATO, the other thing. He did it. Basically, Reagan stood up and did a big conference and said about UFOs and openness and this, that, and the other. United Nations, that was it.
Oh, that's interesting, isn't it?
It is.
And if you look at my research, you'll see it all there.
I know, I'm just having a look now. I did tell everybody earlier that I've got your research. Wasn't this, when I spoke to John Polk, wasn't this his, he said that they had a meeting to discuss how aliens could integrate within our society, and it was all the alien conspiracy thing about disclosure, a gradual level of disclosure, wasn't it? It was something to do with that.
It was also to speak to the Russians and say to them, look, if we do get invaded, can we join forces to fight back?
Well, that would be good if we could all join forces for something if we got invaded by nasty
yes.
aliens, wouldn't it? I mean, God, if we couldn't put on a united front under those circumstances, then the world is doomed completely.
Yeah.
Well, alien probes, you know.
Like Starfleet. Yeah, we have our own Starfleet.
Our fleet. We are about Star Trek now.
We are, yeah. We've gone from Star Wars to Star Trek now.
You got lost there, Paul.
Yeah.
I've got lost there. I don't know about him, but I got lost there.
Are you on about Reagan's Star Wars program?
No, but you're talking about us all working together, and that was sort of the concept of Star Trek, was all these alien races all come together to help each other out and explore.
Well, it'd just be good if the nations could do that. I don't know about multi alien species, just, you know.
Well, I found a news article today from the Express, and
it's got to be true.
It
was today, right? It said, the headline was, "Exclusive, world is about to be told that aliens exist and are here on Earth." Absolutely. We've known for years. I know quite a few aliens.
I know a few people. If they said they were an alien, wouldn't surprise me. No. That's for sure. Yeah.
Sorry.
You know, it wouldn't worry me at all if they said that. It would make things a lot more understandable, actually.
It would, especially in rival radio shows. But, you know, hey.
Ooh.
I don't know what you mean.
I don't know. I digress. I went off on one. The alien mind control got me there, and it just zapped a few thoughts.
That's it. It just slipped out there. But I think this news article was more to do with the alien conspiracy theorists than genuine.
Yeah. Well, all right.
I think the thing with aliens and ufology and stuff like that is it's like two camps, isn't there? You've got the people who experience stuff, like normal, everyday kind of people who experience stuff and, you know, talk about their experiences and their sightings and their abductions and that side of it. And then you've got the whole conspiracy side of it, which is all government related and government linked and, you know, what is it and are they hiding something from us? So there's two very, very, very different camps, I suppose, in the ufology world.
Yeah, groups.
I'll put your minds there, lads. You're both very quiet.
No. We could hear the cogs going around there. One thing I meant to say was, you know, we were talking about the Australian place, Pine Gap.
Yep.
All their satellite tracking dishes are all pointed out towards space now. They never used to be, but apparently now they've all been turned towards space. And it's actually a US base, but on Australian soil.
Okay. So why do you think that is, Mark?
Or could it be aliens? I don't know. I have no idea. Apparently they never used to be. Yeah.
There are other arguments to this, though. They could be looking for radio signals coming from space. They could be even looking at the various energy or sounds from the universe itself, not just aliens. I mean, it could be something a little bit more prosaic than that. It could be something to do with the satellites we've got up there that they're all linking into.
Possibly, but I mean, the place is also an experimental aircraft testing station, and there's supposedly been a lot of sightings seeing UFOs going to and from the base. Personally, I think some of the UFO sightings back along were when the stealth bombers and fighters were being developed, but there's no smoke without fire.
I did listen to, I read an article the other day that they've found that there's a radio signal coming from space that they've picked up on. Right. And they are looking into it because they originally thought that it was being sent from a star because the radiation and it sends radio waves or something, doesn't it? A star imploding or turning from a white dwarf to a red dwarf and etc., etc. But they were talking about this actually not being a signal from a star. They think it could be a signal from a passing starship, is what they thought.
You've gone again.
I'm still here.
Sorry, I think you're having problems with the internet. They keep fading in and out.
Yeah, I think it's because I'm using the studio and everything, and I've got 2 calls now through Skype, haven't I?
Oh, well, sorry. Sorry to crash your party.
No, you carry on. That's fine. You carry on. I can leave if you want. That's fine.
No.
What do you think to the latest reports, and Andy and everybody else in the chat room there, to the so-called alien civilization that was flash frozen in Antarctica, and they've actually supposed to have found part of it and have excavated it and taken some of the technology away?
Isn't that where they found Captain America?
In all honesty, it wouldn't surprise me if they found some form of archaeology, but not necessarily alien.
Yeah, I personally, because Antarctica never used to be Antarctica, did it?
No, or allegedly not. Apparently, at some point, I believe I read somewhere where Andy's having a little meltdown in the chat again. Bless him. I don't know how true this is, but at some point, I believe they've said that the Earth changed on its axis, which caused the poles to change, the North and the South Pole to change. So I don't know how true this is. I've not researched this particularly well. And if that's the case, then there's no... If that actually happened, it's very, very possible that before the poles changed, there was some form of humanity living where the North or the South Pole is now, and that's all they found. I do not believe we have got a alien city on this planet that we have just discovered. I do not believe that at all in any way, shape or form. I think there's possibilities as to...
Andy's having a meltdown in the chat room, sorry.
I know, bless him. I think there are possibilities of... There's lots of unexplained things that they've linked to aliens across cultures and ages everywhere. I mean, you've only got to look at some of the hieroglyphics and the ancient Aztecs and some of the, things that are put on there, which is what has all been used to back up the ancient alien theory. But if we've got them now... No, I don't know. I doubt it. I doubt it very much. But I could be proved wrong because, as I said, when I interviewed the Reverend John Polk, he said that we're going to get disclosure and they're going to come in independent styly. I love that word. And if that happens, it's going to cause mass panic. I don't care what anybody says. I mean, you've only got to go back in the day when that guy wrote that book.
The Bible?
I've just gone into mind blank. No. Oh, good. Oh, my goodness.
It
came down and it was Primrose Hill and it was...
Are you drunk?
No, I'm not. Oh, goodness me. What was it called? I'm having a proper brain freeze going on.
The aliens came to Primrose Hill.
In London, they came... H.G. Wells. Thank you.
War of the Worlds.
Thank you. War of the Worlds. Thank you, Andy Mercer, for saving me there. I had a complete mind blank. And when they actually put that out on the radio, they did it as sort of like a... And that caused a major panic. People left cities thinking it was real, and it wasn't.
People committed suicide.
Over that. There was such a panic. And I don't honestly think there would be much of a different reaction now if that kind of scenario was happening. For real. It would cause a mass panic. I don't think that will happen like that. I can't see an independent day style kind of alien ship coming down. I just can't. I just don't think they'd come all that way for our planet that we're ruining quite happily on our own.
So what you're saying is I've just wasted my money on that air raid shelter that I've had just put in?
Yeah.
We all know that's not an air raid shelter.
I think you've got just as much luck if you bought a big roll of tinfoil and stuck it on your head in Signs kind of way.
He does that inside his air raid shelter.
Don't knock the tinfoil, all right? Don't knock it.
Well, I might be swallowing my words at some point in the future. I hope I hope I'm not swallowing my words. But the whole alien thing I find very difficult to understand. I've never had any personal experiences. The only time I thought I may be having an experience was I was up at Hadley Castle and we saw a triangular-shaped craft flying down the Thames. But that turned out to be the Aurora. That turned out to be just a normal aircraft, that we had developed that wasn't well known at the time. So I think there are technologies that are being tested that aren't public knowledge. I think that causes a lot of alleged sightings of UFOs. I'm not discrediting anybody that's had an experience or an abduction experience. I've never had it myself. I don't want one. I'm not going to lie. I don't want one. But at the end of the day, there are a lot of conspiracy theories. And unless you have privy to all that information by the government, you're not going to know about it. But I also do understand why governments hide a lot of information, because the public in general can't cope with some of the things that are being developed or talked about or used as government ways. Do you see what I mean?
Can you imagine what the Bible Belt in America, how they would react if it turned out that it is real? That's exactly what you're talking about. They would go into meltdown. They wouldn't be able to handle it.
It wouldn't just be the Bible Belt. It would be people in general. It would be the main populace of this planet. There would be a small minority that would embrace it, but there would be the majority of people would go into full-blown meltdown, and society as we know it would crumble because people wouldn't be able to cope with the entire truth. They can't.
Personally, I think we are not the only planet in the whole of the cosmos with intelligent life on it. I think we're going to be bloody arrogant to think that. I don't know if I think that we do get visited now and again, because I've seen things myself and I haven't been drunk or any otherwise out of my skull. And it's not just been myself; a whole group of us have seen things. But as far as the Hollow Earth theory and aliens among us and this, that, and the other, I'm not sure about that whatsoever. But I do think that we're not the only planet with intelligent life on there anyway.
So I don't disagree with that.
I've listened to lots of theories in my time doing this paranormal stuff, and I think one of the best ones that I've ever heard is that the alien greys, the traditional greys aliens, they apparently are our future. They're the humans from future.
Yes.
And they've come back in time to, basically, we are our own creators, so that the Earth will never die, because it's a constant circle of life, constantly going round and round and round. A paradox.
So you're now talking time.
We're now talking
travel?
Quantum physics.
Quantum physics and time travel. But quantum physics is all very good. I was listening to a podcast the other night where they said that there's an alleged theory that if you go through a black hole, it takes you into different dimensions and stuff like that, and you can travel in time, yeah? But if you go through a black hole, the pressures that are involved in going to a black hole, you come out like spaghetti. There is no physical way that you could travel it. No. So, again, they can't prove that. It's just a theory. So, whatever something's a theory, you can't prove it, it's not credible.
Well, they can't prove it yet.
I don't believe they ever will.
Well, there might come a time
funny
when
enough,
they do.
Paul's got a theory, haven't you, Paul, about the religion? Because you were saying about religion and aliens.
Oh yeah,
remember?
I was looking again at the Express, and one of their headlines was that aliens created God and now they want him back. And it was an article about how the aliens created, obviously, God, and they were the ones that initiated religion as a way of getting us to
understand them,
do the right thing and understand and be good people, but we just totally mistook it the wrong way, as we often do, I suppose, and we used it to cause wars and stuff. Allegedly.
Well, it's supposed, isn't it? Yeah, it's supposed to have been that because we were basically in mud huts throwing spears about, they appeared to us as we would imagine gods would be, and the easiest way for us to understand it and deal with it was, we're gods, we're here to do this, that, and the other, and it went a bit too far. That's according to that article.
Yeah, that's quite an interesting theory. Again, it is just a theory. Whether you want to believe it or not is up to you, but I do think sometimes that these conspiracy theories, that they do fit in a weird sort of funny way, but they're just not logical. They really aren't. Not, I don't believe half of them, most of them.
No, I don't. I mean, some of these conspiracies are absolutely ridiculous. I mean, there's one saying that Bigfoot and any sort of Yeti or Sasquatch are actually aliens from another planet who are criminals, and that the Earth is a prison planet and they've been put here as a prison sentence. That was one of the wildest ones I've ever read, and it made me laugh a lot.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah, because I read that. Yeah, I just swore a lot and was like, really? It's like Chewbacca, Arr! Yeah, he's a Sasquatch,
See, I do believe there is life on other planets, but I don't necessarily believe that they are humanoid.
No, I don't. But I do think there is intelligent life on other planets. But whether they've built starships and whether they look like Greys or whether they look like Nordics or whether they look like the Thing or or an extremely rude facehugger, I don't know. But I do think there is certainly something out there.
See, I've always wondered why these alien crafts just appear for a matter of seconds. It's not just a case of they've been hovering there all day. They just appear and then they disappear just as fast. But I've come to the conclusion that they are intelligent life beings. They come to make contact. They see us and think, do you know what? They're not even worth it. And off they go again.
Don't blame them.
No,
What about parallel dimensions in the onion theory? Because there's another school of thought that says it's that, and they develop some way to go through dimensions and intermingle with us.
Well, on one of my future shows on Tuesday nights, I'm actually going to be discussing something called the Mandela effect.
Yes, we are.
And Kerry's going to join me for that one as well.
Yeah, I've done the
Mandela or Mandala?
Mandela. It's called the Mandela effect. Because there are apparently subtle changes in what people remember about our history.
Yes.
And they've come up with a theory that I think it was the millennium, that the world that we lived on ceased to be. And we was actually taken from our world and put onto another one in another dimension. While we slept.
That's right.
And that is what the Mandela effect. Yeah, and that's sort of where the Mandela effect comes from, because there's.
Well, we've approached that from completely different angles. That's all I'm telling you.
Well, that's exactly
I think you need to get me on that show as well.
Well, we'll think about it.
Yeah, we've done a lot of research, Mark. I mean, me and Paul, we've talked about it.
Because I never do any research and send it to you guys whatsoever, do I, Kerry?
No, absolutely not.
I never do any research and send it to you either, do I, Mark?
But that's
because you're drunk with gin.
But that's what the Mandela effect was born from, really. So, that's what we're going to be talking about on that show. So, we'll leave the different realities and stuff to that show, I think.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about that soon. She's dropped out.
Yeah, very interesting show.
We're not quite sure.
Even my youngest daughter Taylor, actually, she's been researching that as well.
Has she now?
No, she had to do it for a school project.
Cool.
No, I wasn't being sarcastic. I was like, thinking, I might.
I have no idea why, but she knows quite a lot about it. Yeah, she knows a lot about it.
Excellent.
It's an incredibly interesting concept regarding multi-dimensions and stuff like that. Now, I would buy into a multi-dimension theory more than aliens visiting us from outer space and not bothering to stop and say hello, credibly, then I probably would... that's sort of where I go with it. I don't know.
Until we actually see them. Until we actually see them and they appear and it's all over the news,
Yeah. But again, if they have already done that, I can understand why a government would want to keep that secret. If they have already done it. Because...
Yeah, mass panic.
Exactly. So, that's sort of where I go with this, is that if they do exist, if they visited planet Earth, there's a lot of ifs in this, by the way. If they have, and if they are, and if they're around us, then there is very, very good reasons why there is non-disclosure. And I'm quite happy living in my little bubble without aliens interfering in my bubble of planet Earth, because, quite frankly, it scares the crap out of me.
Well, there is a couple of other things as well. I mean, first of all, if there are aliens, that would explain my ex-in-laws greatly. And also, there are lots of tribes all around the world, and there's one in Africa in particular that have got star maps that point to, I can't remember which one it is. They all point to one region of space, and it's not tribes that would know each other. There's some tribes in South America, some tribes in Africa, and they all have these. Not every single tribe does, but there's the odd one that has these star maps that point to one place, and apparently they got visited thousands of years ago, and were told to memorize this and pass it down through racial memory.
There are lots of theories on that, but I mean, even I think it was Daniken came up with pyramids are linked into a star constellation, and that the pyramids were actually a giant generator to, build the energy for these starships and stuff like that. Yeah, that's it. There's lots and lots of ancient alien theories, but we'll never really know for 100% sure unless either aliens do visit us and tell us, or, literally on world news, come down, little grey sitting there going, oh, yeah, we did that. Or
Fluffy died in the mirror.
Yeah. Or we actually work out exactly what they were for. But even down to, that kind of thing. These people were a lot more linked in to, you've got to remember, they didn't have light pollution that we have today. They didn't have those problems that we have today looking at the sky. They had clear vision of the sky, so they would have been more linked to the earth and the sky and constellations and things like that. They would have had that. Now, I don't know how relevant that is, whether they could see those constellations from where they were and, all that sort of thing. But I kind of think that's more believable than an alien popping down, visiting them and passing it down through racial memory. I could be completely wrong on this, but that's my opinion.
Well, there's also the other thing. I mean, I think these two go hand in hand. You've got the talk about the precursors, the pre-Adamites, and they're supposed to have been involved with and I'm going to use the term loosely, the Anunnaki, and the Anunnaki is supposed to have genetically either made us or altered us, and that's why we don't use 3/4 of our DNA, and that also explains why these tribes have these star maps and this, that, and the other. They all sort of go hand in hand, and all these times that this is all supposed to have happened, remember we were talking about on our previous radio show about things happening all at the same time period.
Yeah.
Those sort of things also seem to have happened again at the same time period. So again, I'm not going to say there are aliens, I'm not going to say there's not, but I will say there's no smoke without fire, and I am a great believer in that every single story has to have had a spark of reality to start it.
Mm.
Well,
the reason we don't use most of our brain is because of evolution. We don't need to, so we don't use it. But anyway, we've got to shut the show down on that note.
Yep, we've come to the end of the show. So on that, in conclusion, we don't have a clue. Okay, that's it. That's the conclusion of the show. We don't know.
Exactly, we don't know. But every time I look in the mirror, I do think Yeti.
Well,
that's a personal opinion,
yeah.
And no comment.
Maybe you should see a doctor
Paul
about
looks in the
that.
mirror and goes, alien! But then he puts clothes on and he's all right afterwards.
Not quite. Yeah, so anyway, I just want to thank everybody for joining us in the chat room tonight. It's been
Thank you very
interesting.
Much.
And
I hope
over
Andy's
to you
calmed
to
down.
close down.
Well, thank you for letting me join you guys.
You're very
No
welcome.
problem. It's been a laugh, and it's been interesting doing a show with Paul, and we've got to do it again sometime. And it's been interesting seeing the reactions in the chat room, because that's what we like is getting all the different reactions. And thank you very much to all our regulars for listening in, and hopefully we can do it again. And Paul, you and I have got to start a show about oddities, I think, somehow. And Kerry, lovely to join us. Thank you very much.
I think so. Yeah, it's going to be good.
Well, I needed my fix. I needed my Mark Manley fix on a Friday night.
I can't help it. I'm a hunk,
And on that note, I'll leave you two to it, and I'll still speak to you all later.
All right, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for listening.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Paul Rook, and I want you... Good evening, everyone. I'm Paul Rook, and I want you all to join me Tuesday nights at 9 o'clock for Paranormal Concept, only on Parasearch UK Radio.
Hello, this is Kerry Ann. Please join me every Thursday at 9 p.m. on 7th Sanctum, only on Parasearch UK Radio.
You're listening to Kerry Greenaway and Mark Manley on the Dark Mirror Paranormal Show, only on Parasearch UK Radio.